It was just so, we were all just like, oh, it's just,
Yuck.
it was horrible.
Gross.
They're like,
Gross.
yeah, welcome to Texas.
Oh man. I don't know about you, but I always find it interesting how people get into voice acting. What path do they take? There's a million different paths that people take. And, whether it's from acting of another kind or from being a radio personality or whatever. But Rob Marley's path to voiceover was one of the coolest. Running live sound for theme park shows. That's cool to me. Damn, I wish I could have done that. Here's Rob Marley. Hey, look, everybody. I've got Rob Marley sitting here with me. Check it out. It's not Bob Marley. It's not Jacob Marley. It's Rob Marley.
I'm a real pale Jamaican. I'm a real pale Jamaican. That's me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
How you doing, Rob?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. Now, I always think of whenever I hear your name or it comes up, and I even just joked about it to my wife. I said, I'm going to be interviewing a guy named Rob Marley, not Bob Marley and not Jacob Marley. Rob, did you grow up with all the grief about your name that?
No, you know what? It was an awesome name. Like, because it was a good name to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's memorable, Bob Marley.
Yeah.
But my dad's name was Robert Edward Marley.
Okay.
And so they just named me after him. So technically I'm Junior. Robert.
Oh, you're a junior.
J. Marley. But I mean, yeah, same. Just happened. It's a different spelling, I guess. My dad's Irish, so It's like Mahrle instead of Marley. And then when they moved over here, Ellis Island screwed it all up, and so it's Marley.
Well, that's cool.
But it's interesting. I have the exact same birth date as Bob Marley.
Is that right?
February 6th. Yeah.
That's a little
creepy. Yeah, like I looked it up online, celebrities born on your birthday, and it's like Zsa Zsa Gabor and Babe Ruth and Ronald Reagan. But yeah, Bob Marley. And I'm like,
wild.
Really? All right.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, good. Well, Rob, you're in Texas, right? And
Austin, Texas. Yes, sir.
Austin. So it's hot and humid, and but do you go outside? Do you spend much time outside at all these days?
It's funny. In the summer, like, I mean, there are things. Austin, first of all, is beautiful, and it's surrounded by rivers. So when it's really hot, everybody goes tubing.
Okay.
And it's a thing. It's a thing in Texas, man. You got to experience it. Yeah, you get on. Usually they're like big truck tire, inner tubes, but now they make regular floaty type ones. That
right.
Headrest and cup holders, and of course, and you grab your drink of choice. There's a couple of rivers that we go on, and you float down, and it's about an hour-long float, and it ends in a little kind of cute little waterfall slide type of a thing, and then you get up and you can hop on a little bus that will take you back to the start. Okay. Or you can walk a trail, it's like a little 10-minute walk. So you just do that. But I mean, it's a perfect way to chill out. And the water is crystal clear.
Oh, nice.
Cold, but clear. Really, really crystal clear.
Where is the water coming? What river? So is it coming from like a mountain range somewhere where the water's still cold and
it's a natural spring. It's an aquifer that comes up out of the ground in this one place. In fact, the area is kind of famous for it. Like in the 40s and 50s, they had like a big glass bottom boat that would take you out over the thing, and you could actually see the water coming up out of the ground, like bubbling, like cereal. They call it
artesian spring.
It's exactly it. It's an artesian spring.
Yeah. Oh, that's
so
awesome.
The water is crystal clear and like super clean. It's supposed to be cleaner than the tap water.
Did they have like remember they had those old health resorts and stuff back in the day? I can imagine something like that, being around.
I'm sure there were Mineral Springs. There's a place called Mineral Springs, and that's it's basically just it's nasty tasting water. It's mineral water. Honestly, the stuff that comes out of a well smells like rotten eggs.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's their thing. It's like
bathe in this stuff and
yeah.
Well, cool, Rob. Now, I know you've been doing voiceover for a long time. How did you come to voiceover through radio like some other people do? Where did you get here?
No, I'm not a radio guy. I got started, I guess I was working as a sound guy at Six Flags.
Oh, cool.
I worked at Six Flags Magic Mountain and was a stage technician for many years. helped kind of set up bands, and then
Cool.
started doing the line checks, and then was doing like little kid shows, like the little, the small small theater shows.
Yeah.
And every now and then you'd have to do a spiel. You'd have to do one over the microphone.
I see.
And so I just, over the years, I worked there almost 9 years, and I just
Wow.
got used to talking on the microphone. It was great because you're at the sound booth looking towards the stage, so everybody's looking away from you.
Right.
They're not looking at you, so it was easy for me to get on mic. My friends pranked me one time when I was at the end of the show. I was doing a thank you, please exit out the doors, whatever, and the stage manager decided to use the follow spot guys to light me up with with the lights, and they let me in this nasty like Smurf color blue light. And I just buckled. I'm just cowered under the desk. And sorry, couldn't do it.
That's cruel.
But yeah, so I was doing some announcing, live announcing over the microphone there, and I just got kind of used to talking on mic.
That's awesome.
So,
that's cool. So then how did that translate into getting into voiceover? Because I mean, obviously it was a form of voiceover, but how did it get to, doing what we do?
Yeah, I'd worked in the TV business doing video production and satellite production and stuff like that for years.
Yeah.
And whenever they needed a project, I would always just kind of volunteer. If you needed a voice for this, it's like for a tag or for an announcement or something, I'm like, I'll do it.
Nice.
So I was always doing like training films and stuff like that over the years, and never really thought about doing voiceover as like my own business, just as a part of what I was doing.
Yeah, right.
And then about 4 or 5 years ago, a friend of mine gave me a tablet for Christmas gift.
Oh, okay.
A little tablet PC type of a thing.
Right.
And it was one of those things, just like, wow, this has no spinning hard drive and no fan. It's completely silent. I'm like, I could record audio with this. And so I started thinking like, well, maybe I could audition for some stuff. So I rigged I got a USB mic and plugged it in and did it all. And honestly, like, used my closet, and it was super quiet. It was like the sound that came out of that was pretty decent.
Nice.
Because I had experience with working as a sound man, I knew, how a mic should be placed and how to deal with acoustics and stuff.
Cool.
And I was able to get a decent sound out of that thing. I got some good paying jobs first, right out the gate.
That's sweet.
And then I just kind of reinvested it into better gear and coaching and all that stuff.
Oh, that's great. That's really cool. Now, what kind of work are you finding that you're being cast in most of the time now? I mean, whether you are auditioning for it or you've just kind of found your way into doing a particular kind of work, what's kind of your bread and butter these? Just keep in mind that we're not talking COVID days. If things were all normal.
If things were normal, like 4 months ago. Honestly, I'm an audition for pretty much anything I think I can do. I don't like audiobooks. I've learned that the hard way. I'm just not a fan of audiobooks.
Gotcha there.
I know Terry has mentioned that, like, he's not a fan of audiobooks. I'm like, yeah, I'm there with you.
Me too.
I like the short stuff that pays better.
Yeah. There you go.
15 seconds for $150. Yeah, I'll do it.
I'm there.
But no, I have a couple of clients that I work with. One's a local TV station that's out in East Texas, and I do some promos, some mom and pop pizza places for them and stuff like that. And they always want like a crazy character voice, so it's fun.
That's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's one client. I have a client in Seattle that does some walkthrough videos of RVs, and they've kind of dried up because of all of this.
Oh, I see.
But I do.
They'll probably come back though, huh?
I'm hoping that they will. But I've done some e-learning. I've done some basic narration stuff. Some like corporate narration stuff. But really, mostly what I'm doing right now is kind of promo stuff, like
great.
Like the mom and pop pizzeria, and I work for with the local PBS station here in Austin and do a lot of underwriter tags and stuff for them as well.
Okay, yeah.
I'm the voice of one of their channels here in Austin.
That's really cool. I did that for a while for a PBS channel in Massachusetts, I think, for some of their pledge drives and things like that. But not nearly. I wasn't like one of their go-to guys, but somehow I got on their radar and it was like, sure, I'd love to.
Yeah, I mean that's always been kind of like a goal of mine, is to be the voice of something, the
I
voice
know.
of this product or the voice of this brand or
Yeah,
whatever.
and
But
it sure is
you know,
nice when that happens, and then they move on.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's like you can be gone tomorrow. Here
Totally.
today, gone
Yeah.
tomorrow, and it's like, like I say, John Hamm's not always going to be the voice of Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
Eventually they will replace him and rebrand, and do something, and they'll use a different voice.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know,
And it sucks when that happens, but it's like the revolving door of clients. You just got to keep searching them out. Things can feel great for a while. You've got this little clutch of clients that just keep feeding you, but then, you know, you can't sit on your laurels and just rely on that forever, because it's
yeah,
going to
I mean,
change.
the dream, or actually the goal for any voiceover artist should be to have work coming to you.
Hmm.
Like you open up your inbox or check your email and check your voicemail or whatever, and there's like, hey, there's 3 jobs lined up for me. That's what
Yeah.
you want, is return clients.
Yeah.
But the problem is that if you get too busy with the return clients and just rely on that, then you're not doing anything to get more return
Right.
clients.
Right.
You got to
Exactly.
keep getting them, because
Yeah. Yeah.
I had a client that hit me up every week for these little dinky little videos that they were doing, these little 60-second videos, and it was
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, it was steady income.
Yeah.
But then, they stopped. They just
Right.
stopped, and that was
Like,
it.
why? Come back
Yeah.
to me, please. I miss you.
So you got to keep looking. You got to, I mean, that's where marketing comes in. It's like
Yeah.
you got to keep getting your voice to hit the right eardrums at the right time.
Yeah, definitely. Now, if you could, considering all the work that you do now, is there something you'd like to do more of? Or even if it's not something that you're currently doing, is there something that you'd like to branch out into and go, oh, I'd love to do more of this?
I have been playing Red Dead Redemption like for the past 3 months.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, a mocap actor. That's what I want.
Oh, yeah.
I
Wouldn't
want
that
to do
be fun?
mocap.
Wow, that would be awesome. Yeah.
I'd love to do games.
Yeah.
I've done 2 games, and they're fun.
Yep.
And in a kind of addicting way. Like, it's a lot of work. It's a boatload of lines
Yeah.
that you don't have any context for. It's
Yeah.
just, here's line 217, say this. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, it's so much fun. And then it's because it's a tangible product.
Yeah.
It's not just hearing your voice on the radio, which would be amazing, but
Yeah.
but it's to play me in a
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
That's like awesome. It's like, look, listen what I can do.
Yeah.
With me.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
So,
absolutely. No, I feel you there. And
yeah.
it's kind of a tough. It can be a tough kind of genre to get into, and
It's the toughest.
yeah,
It's easier to be a Hollywood actor. I'm sure of it.
yeah, right, and maybe not as fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now considering, okay, getting back to what you've done in your past. Is there something that stands out for you as like a highlight? Like if you had to pick something that is like your shining moment, and the spotlight comes down, and it's all about Rob
Boy.
Marley. What's the thing that you say, yeah, this was really cool?
Yeah, no. Those don't happen. This, man. Those kind of, yeah, I was in no. The one thing that I thought was really cool was I was going to be the branded voice of an app, like a developed app that was supposed to revolutionize the point of sale systems.
Yeah.
Like
Okay. Yeah.
it was one of these, like, wave your phone near the register and it would automatically credit you. And it was a really cool system. They had millions and millions of funding dumped into this thing.
Sweet.
And I was going to be the branded voice, and we were doing contests and all that stuff. And I had recorded a bunch of stuff, and they started paying me, and it was really nice.
Yeah.
And then they just said, no, we're not going to launch.
Oh.
Like the main investor just said, screw it, I'm leaving. And that was it. So the app never came out.
That sucks.
Yeah,
that
so
sucks.
that was like my big thing. That would have been the awesome thing, and it didn't happen. So
I know. Well, it's true. I mean, like so much. I mean, same with you. So much of my work is stuff that just doesn't see consumers' eyes. It's not consumer facing. So it's just like, I did this great e-learning module. It was really interesting. Oh, Boy, that must be neat, Yawn.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Nobody cares. One of my favorites, even though it was just a little local gig, it was for another city here in the San Francisco Bay Area. It was a recycling program thing. I was the voice of a wheelie bin, I was a talking trash can.
That's cool.
It was cool, and I did my best kind of Cookie Monster impersonation, and it was fun, and it was on TV, and it was, yeah, it was cute. And so
the PBS station here that I'm the voice of, it's great because I mean, I do underwriter spots for them all the time,
Yeah.
but years ago I recorded all the time tags for their promos. So when like PBS runs a promo, you know, it's usually a PBS produced spot that's produced somewhere else, and then the station grabs it, and then they just throw a tag on the end of it.
Sure.
And I'm the voice on the end that says like Tuesday at 4.
Oh, okay.
Wednesday at 5. And it was funny. I got into an elevator somewhere, and I just said like, hey, going to 4, and the guy's like, you're the guy.
Really?
And somebody recognized me from the TV, that I'm the voice from this channel. I'm like, wow.
That is, man, what an ear. I mean,
yeah.
But that's pretty cool. It's just like out of nowhere, you know.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, that was probably the high point for me. It was somebody recognizing my voice, like, "Hey, I know that voice." Like, you know, it seems so cliche to say it, but,
the ones I love is like, "Hey, did I just hear you on such and such commercial?" Nope.
No.
That was an awesome job you did on that Mercedes commercial.
Yeah,
wasn't me.
Thanks. Yeah, that wasn't me.
Gee, thanks. Okay, well, switching gears a little bit. We both live in warm climates, and so more than other voice actors, we are pounding. I mean, you see me reaching for this all the time as I'm. Yeah. What do you drink throughout the day? I mean, I just drink water all the day and coffee and stuff. But is there anything else that keeps you feeling good and hydrated?
You know, I know they say you're supposed to drink room temperature water, but screw that.
Screw that.
You know, that's why I like the you know, this particular brand of insulated cooler that I won't mention.
Okay.
But no, that's why I like them, because it just stays cold forever. So I just pour cold water in it, and you know, it's still cold by the time I'm finishing it. But I eventually get sick of water, and so I've been switching to like iced tea.
Yeah.
Unsweetened iced tea, or try and throw some stevia in it or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a lot of herbal teas and stuff that work great in the cold weather as hot teas, but I'm discovering they don't really work well as a cold tea.
It's like, ugh. Well, now I know you're not in your studio now, but what's your recording setup like at home?
It's a closet. You know, it was a nice walk-in closet, and I gutted half of it.
Did you?
Yeah, there's a plastic kid's desk, you know, that I can fit my legs under, you know, and it works because it was small enough to fit in there.
Yeah.
And I've got my preamp right in front of me, and I got my mic on a crazy boom, you know, that's kind of positioned just perfectly.
Right.
And I've got a laptop on a shelf with a blanket over it, you know, but it still gets air, but it's, you know, it keeps it quiet.
Yeah.
And that, and I'm surrounded by acoustic blankets and of course comforters and, you know, clothes and all that stuff.
Oh, you haven't given up your closet entirely.
No, I've literally just taken everything that was in half of it and kind of just piled it up onto the side, so it's nice and dense.
That's perfect. And you know, and it's so funny. You know, we talk to people a lot about recording setups and getting beginners going and things like that, and it's, you know, people are so concerned about how it looks. Who cares? You know,
it's how it sounds that's important.
Yeah.
Who cares what it looks like?
Yeah, you can do amazing things with just household stuff. You know, your rolled up sleeping bags that have been collecting, you know.
I call that creative inelegance.
Oh yeah. I've heard you say that before. That's great.
So a mattress pad tacked on the wall is going to look like a mattress pad tacked on the wall, but you know, it's going to work to absorb some vibration so that you don't have that, you know, boxy room sound.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
Yeah, totally. Well, cool. Now, given the fact that you do voiceover, are you still, I mean, is voiceover the only thing that you're doing? I know that you've got a book coming. Right, you're in the process of
that sounds like such a segue to a plug.
I don't mean it.
A book, by the way?
It's a happy circumstance. But the point I was getting to was, how do you balance work and private life stuff, because a lot of voiceover people have a hard time breaking the golden handcuffs, or whatever they call the golden shackles.
It's the golden handcuffs job.
Yeah.
It, it's weird because it's like the day never ends.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like a 9 to 5, and it really shouldn't be. I mean, as a single business owner, you can't just be 9 to 5 unless you're turning work away and you're okay with that.
Exactly. I mean, I struggle with it at times, just because it's a common thread in voiceover circles and stuff like that. So I'm always curious, so how do you deal with it? Because do you do another job besides voiceover, or is voiceover your full-time gig?
No, I work for that PBS station in Austin.
Oh, okay.
I'm a voice artist for them.
Yeah.
But they don't do nearly enough stuff to keep me there full time as a voice artist. So I work in their master control department, their engineering and programming department, and make sure the Big Bird stays on the air 5 days a week.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's the best of both worlds, to be honest, because it's a job I like to do.
Yep.
And I'm good at it. Plus, I'm doing voiceover stuff for them.
Yeah.
So it's paying the bills and allowing me to also be a voiceover artist on, and not necessarily on the side, because it's like a parallel right now.
Right. Exactly.
Where I'm doing 2 jobs at once.
Yeah. Yeah. I get you. Well, that's cool. Now, okay. So getting back to the book, tell me, is it a novel? Is it about voiceover? What's this book about?
It's like a step-by-step guide on how to get started in the voiceover business.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's one more book. It's one more book out there on how to get started in the voiceover business. I was going to actually say, like in the foreword, there are many books on voiceover, and this is one of them. But
wow, it sounds fascinating.
No, honestly, it's my take on how to set up the room, how to find the gear, pick the right gear,
cool.
How to get started, how to find work, how to deal with agents. Maybe you want an agent, maybe you don't. How to work with them, how to understand them.
Yeah.
So it's sort of it started as basically it was an answer that I kept getting on Reddit, on the voice acting and the voiceover subreddits. How do I get started in the business? I want to be a voice actor. How do I do this? And everybody kind of gives the same answer, and I was giving the same answer over and over, and it was getting longer and longer and longer. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to make this a cheat sheet. And so the cheat sheet turned into an ebook. And then I kept writing and blogging and, kept having opinions.
Yeah. And imagine that.
And so the book, so I decided, the time is right. Let's get this book out and get done, be done with it, and just say it's actual, like, real book with, like, pages and ink and everything. So
that's really cool. Now, are you self-publishing this?
Yeah, I'm trying the self-publishing route. Amazon makes it really easy and super convenient to, like, you can just basically upload your manuscript. They've got software that lets you design the cover if you want to do that. I'm not going that way, but I mean, they've got built-in designers, and you can change the templates around. They take a cut of every book that you sell.
I see.
But you're on Amazon. I mean, you have the potential of being, huge or, not. It all depends on how you market it.
Are you allowed to sell it through other means as well, like your own website or that kind of thing?
That's the thing. I think you can only sell through Amazon, but I mean, I could put a link to Amazon from my website.
That's true.
And that way. And I think it also goes into Barnes and Noble sites, because Amazon has a deal with them.
I see.
So it's not a bad deal. It's
cool.
They really walk you through every step of the way, and as long as you meet certain requirements, you can get the book out there.
Damn,
and of course, that's the problem, is that there's a lot of voiceover books out there that are really thin and not giving you a whole lot of information.
Right. It's just like a small blurb about every topic almost.
It's like, I saw one that's like one of the ones that's always getting used or getting mentioned, but it's like 65 pages.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, really? You're going to spend that kind of money for 65 pages? And it's going to be stuff that's like, is already out there anyway.
Yeah, right. It's like, it's almost like a book of footnotes. It's like, well, where do I go from here? At
least mine has some details onto the hows and the whys, and of course, a lot of my opinion as to why you should do things that way or not. So I just think, okay, it's my voice. It's how I feel about the voiceover business.
Yeah, well, that's really cool. That's ambitious. I mean, it's got to be. I mean, this has been in the works for some time, I imagine, huh?
It has. It's the manuscript has been sitting on my desk for years.
Oh,
I mean, I've had the ebook's been out for four years. I
okay.
think 4 years.
Yeah.
And it's been downloaded several times, which has been, it's like 5,000 downloads or something like that on the ebook. So that was fantastic. So I'm like, let's make this a book. Let's make this a legit book and get this thing out there.
That's cool. Now, will you be creating a audiobook from your manuscript?
I think it's so funny that there's so many voiceover books out there that don't have an audiobook associated with it.
Isn't that weird?
Hey, man, proof is in the pudding there, fella. If you're a voice artist, like, why don't you have an audiobook?
I won't mention any names, but and frankly, I'm not even sure I can remember whose it is. But I remember hearing through the grapevine that when the audiobook version of their pretty well-selling book came out, the audio quality was awful.
Oh, man.
And it was just like, is this a joke? Like, it was, and like I said, I can't remember whose it was. I'm glad I don't remember whose it was, but I just remember hearing that the audio version of this voiceover book was terrible. But anyway.
I think if I ever write a second book, because that's the thing. It's like your first book is just to promote your next book. But if I ever write a second book, I think the audiobook version is going to be like every chapter is going to be a different voice artist that I hire. Yeah. I think that would make the most sense, because I am doing my audiobook and I'm recording it, and I realize again why I don't like doing audiobooks. It's
even yours.
Yeah, and then because if you just want to deliver clean audio, that's fine. But I'm like trying to master this now, and like, okay, there's a second space here, and there's the chapter, and then there's 2 seconds of space here, and then I have to say this, and
I see.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I mean, editing is that's the time-consuming process.
Yeah,
really.
Absolutely.
Recording's easy.
Yeah. Now, how do you market an audiobook then if the manuscript is on Amazon? Do they also put in some kind of a, is there a pairing that can happen there? Or
well, that's the thing. The manuscript's not up yet. The book isn't out yet because I'm still working on cover art and finalizing things. But once it is, like once I launch, whatever that is, it'll have the Kindle version, a print version, and the audiobook all at the same time.
Oh, cool.
So when when you call up my name on Amazon, you'll have like, here's the book title and here's the 3 ways that you can purchase the book.
I see.
That's the goal. But like trying to get the audiobook done it's tough. I mean, I'll record for 2 hours and then I'll edit for 6. And my voice is shot after 2 hours. I'm like, I don't know how people can do this.
I don't know either. And they're machines. They just keep going. And I mean, that's the thing. I mean, most of the successful audiobook people that I know, I mean, that's almost all they do. I'm not sure that they even go after any other work, because they're just cranking, and
I just don't know how they can do that. I mean, because it's a thankless job. I mean, everybody wants to be like, oh, I got to be the voice of the Bible, or whatever. But I mean, it's like you're getting paid so little. And then a lot of these guys, they're kind of teased into doing the book by doing a percentage.
Oh, like a royalty thing?
Well, you're what you get paid is however much a percentage of however much we sell. So if the book doesn't sell, you don't get squat. No, thank you. Thank you.
No, definitely not. Well, that's cool. God, do you have a projected launch date?
No.
Okay. Well,
I was thinking I was going to put it on the calendar and try and set that as a goal, but I'm rather just no, let's just get everything finalized and not worry about rushing and get it out when it's ready.
Yeah, exactly. When you're happy with it. Yeah. Right.
I think it's close. I think hopefully within a month it should be out.
Cool. That's exciting.
So I'm kind of excited to actually have a book, a real genuine book.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. Very cool. Okay, well, switching gears again.
All right.
How about now? I asked you about your golden moment. How about you're hang your head in shame, hopefully laughing at yourself with some uncomfortable humor. Do you have an embarrassing moment where you screwed something up royally, or really stepped in it, so to speak, and
I'll give
anything that.
two.
Okay,
I'll give
good.
two that stand out. One, when I was a sound man at Six Flags, I was
Okay.
doing a sound job for the Dolphin and Sea Lion show that they have.
Okay.
And it was a great show, packed audience, and
Yeah.
I mean it's saltwater, and you're
Okay.
dealing with a wireless body pack transmitter on the trainer. She's wearing a headset mic that goes into a wireless body pack.
Yeah.
And we've got it in a protective case, but it's saltwater.
Yeah.
And the salt just cakes in everywhere. So we were always having problems.
Oh,
And
wow.
so she like the 3:00 show, the mic starts cutting out a little bit. She gets through the show, and I'm the sound guy, and she hands it to me, and I'm like, it's fine, it'll be okay. And I clean the connection, and I put everything back, and I hand it to her, and we do the 4:00 show, which is the packed audience. It's it's always the biggest show.
Okay.
So it was like 2,000 people in the audience.
Oh,
we get
geez.
about a quarter, maybe halfway through the show, and the body pack dies, just dead. And there's nothing I can do. And she's looking up at me, and I'm like, I'm pointing to, we have a backup mic on the stage, and I'm pointing to the backup mic, and she's looking at me like, I don't know what to do. So I have to go out of the booth, down the stairs, like in the audience. I'm going down the stairs, up the stairs on the front of the house. I mean,
everybody's just watching. There's nothing else to do but watch.
All you hear is the splash of the water in the pool. And I grab the backup mic. Yeah, I grab the backup mic, and I throw the cable out, to get a straight line, and it was coiled wrong.
Uh-oh.
So I don't know if you've ever done a stage coil on a microphone, but
Sure.
that over-under thing?
Uh-huh.
Well, if you throw it out the wrong way, you get a knot every 8 inches, a slip knot. So I threw the cable out, and it went, and there was a knot every 8 inches. I plugged the mic in, and I hand it to her, and I'm like, sorry. She's like, oh, we'll talk about this later.
Oh, that's the word. And then you got to go back.
Yeah, do the walk of shame up the stairs, like, hi, how you doing? Sorry about that. We'll get the show going. Sorry. So that was the worst for sound guys. And then for voiceover, thankfully not as bad. I was on a directed session with a client, a big gig. They had given me a different script than one I was prepared for. So I'm like, okay, so I'm kind of reading it over. And they're like, okay, you ready? I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do this. And so I start doing it. And
totally cold read.
Yeah. And it's okay. It's not a bad delivery. And we start going into the second one. And then I realize I hadn't started recording.
On your local end. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, how do I tell them this? I'm like, I can't tell them this. So I said, you know what? Hang on a second. There's a technical issue. Let me fix this. And I'm like, hit restart, hit record really quick. And I'm like, okay, let's try that second take again. Let's do that again. And I got through it, but in my head, I'm like, oh my God, Rob, oh my God.
I think I did that once. And like you, I didn't tell them. And I went back and re-recorded the first take to send off to them. It's like, okay, there you go. There are your 2 takes that we went through and you directed me on.
That's why you always want to tank the first take. No matter what. You don't want to ever have the client call you a one-take wonder. Because then you're screwed. That's jinxed. Like, wow, one take wonder. Yeah, the next job is going to be like take 37. And no, I can't say that. Okay.
Oh man, yeah, I've had some of that. Yeah.
Always take the first take.
Yeah, definitely. Getting back to your sound guy thing. That just reminds me of I was the sound guy for a band in San Francisco before I actually ended up becoming a member of that band. And did you ever do music, mix music, live music?
That's how I got the bug.
Really? Okay.
It was a Motown band. It was a live 12-piece Motown band, like 32 channels of inputs on the mixer.
Man,
full brass section, 3 backup vocalists, a drummer that didn't know how to play soft, 2 organs. I mean, it was a full band, Motown band, and we would do 5 sets every night at this park, and it was a pavilion that like people walked past. No one sat down and watched, but it was just like the central pavilion the music would play. But so every night for years in the summer, I listened to Motown music, like live Motown music, and I was like,
that's great.
This is a pretty good job.
That is pretty cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Wow.
It was fun. So I learned a lot about music. I learned a lot about working with talent and sound mixing, like live sound. Live sound is a tricky little thing to be able to work.
Pinpointing troublesome frequencies and things like that. And
and that's
tricky.
the thing, like, working during the day, your sound's going to sound one way, and then when the sun goes down, suddenly the frequencies are flat and nothing sounds right. And so it's like
bizarre.
you got to know how to adjust.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But it's fun gig. I love working sound.
That is fun. I mean, that's kind of where I got started, being in theater and playing music and being just brought into recording studios by the time I was, in my mid-teens. That was fun, and that was just a great education for essentially what we're doing now.
Yeah, I mean, it's knowing the chain, knowing how the signal flows from my mouth to the microphone, through the preamp, through the amp, and all the stuff that goes through. Knowing that chain is really helpful.
Yeah.
So absolutely. That you're, if you're called on in the middle of emergency, you can look like a rock star, and it's like, oh, it's just this, and
exactly. Ta-da!
Your phantom power was not on.
We're not worthy, Rob.
Yeah.
We're not worthy.
That's the thing. You always want to look like a rock star. You always want to look like, oh, I could do this, and be the hero.
Yeah. It sure sucks when you can't be, but boy, it feels good when you can be.
It's so funny to this day. Like, whenever I hear like a radio, like sometimes when the DJ comes out of a break, they'll have their headphones up too loud, and you'll hear the microphone squeal. You'll hear the feedback.
Yeah.
I instinctively, to this day, I'm still reaching for a fader that's not there. I'm like, oh, I'm trying to pot him down, and like, no, that's the radio, stupid.
That's great. Instinct. Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks for coming on with me today, Rob. Is there any way? How do people get a hold of you if they want to get in touch with you about your voiceover services or anything else you want to have people get in touch with you about?
Email is probably the best way to go. You can find me on Facebook. I'm always on Facebook. But rob@marleyaudio.com. That's my regular email address.
Okay.
I'm also, as you know, with Terry on Universal Voice Talent. So with voiceovertraining.info, you can find out more about me there, I guess.
Good.
I guess my bio is still up there. My website's going through a change right now.
Okay.
It's having some growing pains.
Oh, well, it's got it, it's turning into a man.
Yeah, it's all grown up. So yeah, I don't know what my website looks like right now, but it's marleyaudio.com, and who knows? Okay. Hopefully, by the time this is out, it'll look better.
Okay,
we'll see.
Sounds good. Well, thanks again, Rob. I really appreciate you coming on.
You're welcome, man. It was a fun pleasure to do this.
All right, enjoy your summer.
Thank you very much. You too.
You bet.
Take care.